glad you guys are here. Well, where else you got to be, because you know we got that beverage going on, so we're all
indoors,
indoors. So I thought about what to talk about, and this is gonna be a beauty video, not like another movie or anything review that we're gonna talk about, because like you have a couple of sales going on, because again we're indoors. So what are we doing indoors? Shopping. We be shopping. Okay, so Belk is currently having a beauty sale, which to get one of my favorite items, and that is complexion items. That is foundation. And as we know, if you are a Sephora insider, VIB, Rouge, etc., or just a plain enthusiast, that they have a sale coming up in like maybe next week. Cause what's the day? Yeah, so next week, the sale where you get their spring sale, basically, where you get 20% off of your purchase for whatever, and there are other sites that just are having sales. Just everybody's having different sales throughout. So I thought one of the things we can focus on, because it can be kind of overwhelming, is on foundations. Foundation is my favorite. So what we will basically be talking about is the foundations that are worth your time, because there are a lot of foundations, both high end and low end. We'll go through all of those. I have separated them into categories. I have it in my notes, so we'll get into it. And before we get into it, remember to thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and yeah, feedback to see. And I also want to know how y'all think about this video. Okay, so when I think of foundations, I actually put them in categories, because I don't always want my skin, I am oily combination, by the way, but I don't always want my skin to have the same effect, if that makes sense. Sometimes I like to be a little more skin-like and natural, like what I got going on today. Looks like skin. I will actually show you what I have on. I'm not putting the main foundation in my list because it's discontinued, but I really liked it. But yeah, so what I have on today is the Makeup Forever Water Blend Foundation. You can see I have very little left, and it's like a gel consistency, and this is Y505. So they discontinued this, which is a bummer. So I'm holding on, and I couple that with my and this one is skin-like. It's water-based. It's more like a gel. Like even when you see it, it's kind of gelatinous in here. Blends out like a dream. I put it on with a brush, not a sponge. I feel like, because it is super water based, that sponge is going to soak it up. And I basically keep that with my concealer. I have different concealers for different things. It's not a concealer video, but I use the Born This Way Multi Sculptor Concealer, which you can use for foundation in the color Chai. That is what I have on today as far as my foundation. So we will get it down, broken up by categories. And the first one that I actually think is worth your time, we'll talk about the finishes of them as well. So I narrowed this down. They are both Maybelline. Maybelline really has come up with great foundations that I feel like are on par with a lot of high-end foundations. I also have not gotten, and once we get into high-end, even some of the stuff that I picked as high-end is not the most high-end. Like I have not broken down to get the La Mer. I have not tried to look Guerlain. I have not, even Dior, but like I haven't really gotten into the Dior. I haven't actually got into the Armani, although the Armani is the one that I have that had some of the best reviews, but I kind of like what I like. So like, and I will show you my favorite out of all these when we come into it. And I like them all for different things. But anywho, and please ignore the dirtiness of this bottle. This is the Maybelline. It was down in the old bag, but it is the Maybelline Full Coverage SuperStay. This is the liquid version. There's a stick version of this, and it's 24 hours. And I will tell you that unlike some of the other things that say they are full coverage, this is full coverage, but it's not. So most full coverages, in my opinion, happen to be matte. This is not necessarily, it's not the mattest, but it's not dewy. So I like that. You do get full coverage. It's under 10 bucks. It is really one of the better foundations that I think they have on the market. I think that Maybelline as far as the drugstore foundations, they are kind of taking over. Let's see. And it does look like skin. So that's what I like. That was what I have been more about. And that is, and I wear the color Coconut. And the other one that I would also tell you to look at, and this one is also by Maybelline. It is the FitMe foundation. I have the matte Poreless one because I have combination oily skin like we have talked about, but it also comes in a dewy, and they have a bunch of different finishes. They have a powder, they have a cream to powder, they have a pressed powder, loose powder, so all of that. And I wear cappuccino, and this one, however, these don't have a pump like the Stay. Please ignore, this is so nasty, but this one does come with a pump. So that's the only thing, and I think I bought this one because if you look at them, they are two different colors. They are glass. Yeah, so this is a 340 and this is a 355, so I might have bought this one in the summer a while ago. Which, if I'm in a jam and I need something now I can wear either one of those. This is why I like these. Anything that you could basically want to do with your skin, the FitMe foundations, they have it for you. But the best, and this is not full coverage. This is medium coverage, but you can build it up. So that's what you're looking for. All right. For dry skin, I do not actually have a bunch of, I put it in here because I thought that this would help you guys, but it does not help me because I can't necessarily use them because again, but like I said, I'm a freelance makeup artist. So I have used these on other people. And when people come to and suggest what they should get based on their skin type, these are the ones that I would actually suggest. And all of these that I'm going to suggest, I have one actually. So we'll get to that, but and I'll insert the pictures. The first one is the FENTY Hydrating Filt'r Foundation, which it has the great coverage. To me, it does not oxidize and kind of dry down the way that the matte one does. The matte one will come up later. The soft matte. I like the way both of those look on the skin. It is hydrating. It goes on very easy. Gives you good coverage. It's medium coverage. A lot of the foundations that I like are medium coverage, but you can build them up. So that's what you want to look for, because I feel like a lot of people come to me asking for full coverage and you just simply don't need it. My thing is with skin, especially as I've gotten older, is I would like for skin to look like skin. And the next one, which one maybe actually is my favorite of the hydrating foundation that I can think of right now, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Glow Foundation. It came out basically at the end of last year. Or the very beginning of the end of last year, yeah. But the coverage, the way that it blends down into skin, you can use that with a sponge or with a brush without it taking your coverage away. And here's the other thing, I just want to give you guys a tip. As you come, a lot of people come to me asking for full coverage, but they apply with a sponge, and a sponge diffuses foundation, whereas a brush you can do right on. So like, if you really want the coverage, you should use a brush, but I like to use a brush and a sponge. I put on my foundation with a brush, and then I go over it with a damp sponge, and make sure that your sponge is damp, because if it is not damp, not soaking wet, not bone dry, but just damp, then it is either gonna, one, take up your makeup, or it's just not gonna go on well. And I know that some people don't like to use brushes because they feel like it's streaky, but if you put it on with a dry sponge, not only is it gonna soak up your product, but it is going to make your skin look splotchy. So it's kind of the same things. So yeah, and another one that I like that I have, and this is an old bottle. It is not, I probably need to throw this out because like I said, it's pretty. This looks good. This is the OG like hydrating foundation. In my opinion, that is the Nars Sheer Glow. And I wear Macau. Well, I wear Trinidad in this one. Trinidad and Macau. Let's see. But okay, it doesn't smell bad. It just maybe need to be shaken up. But this is obviously not something that I reach for every day, because again, back to the oily combination, that this is sheer. That's in the name. You're not gonna get the good coverage the way you think it is. Maybe with the, I'm thinking, not All Day Luminous, the Radiant, the Natural Radiant is the child of this, you know, that's its son, is the child of this Nars Sheer Glow. Because the Natural Radiance does give you more coverage. This one is very sheer. To me, it is almost sheerer than a, and I will put this one on with stippling brush, that the Nars Sheer Glow is actually very light coverage. So it's not even medium. But sometimes you just need like a wash of color to the skin. And then if you have dry skin, you can afford to put on more of this. You can always build it up. It's medium coverage. But to me, it's light, in my opinion, for what I needed to do. And some days I don't need a bunch. So to me, these are similar, not texture wise. This is more jelly than this, so it's more kind of liquid. But this one does go on like water, and so does this one. If I was going to compare the two, in my opinion, that it also it's just a good wash of color. And I also think about MAC's Face and Body, which is not necessarily, that's more, well, I could put that in my skin finish category, which maybe since we're talking about skin finish, we'll go to that one next. Skin like finish. Okay, so the two that I think are skin like finishes, which these are the same. So I don't know why I have both of these. So the first one that I will talk about is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. This is actually, these two are my favorite foundation. I don't actually have that much in here. I can see straight through it. I probably need to just go on and throw this out, but I didn't want to because it was almost, you know, $50. So, but this is the HD. That's the original. And then you got the Ultra HD. So to me, they didn't, and then they have come out with another one that I have not tried yet. That's supposed to be, I guess, it's not called Ultra HD. It's like boosted or something like that. But with these, this one, the Makeup Forever HD foundations are, and I wear, hold on. It's still Y505, same thing I wear in that one. And this actually has a different name because they changed the numbers with them. They added more foundation. And they've always had like 40 plus foundations. So yeah, so before Fenty, this is what I was wearing before. Cause I like this foundation more than I like any of the MACs. I really don't like a lot of MAC's foundation. I like their waterproof foundation, but I didn't put that on my list. I don't think you necessarily need it. But yeah, we're going into skin like finishes. Back to this. This is made to be on camera. This is made to be on film. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe that. So it looks like your skin, but better. And it is very adaptable. You can do it up, you can mat it up, depending on what you need for your skin type. They also have a whole line of primers to go with these, so whatever your skin needs may be. If you have redness, there's a green primer that you can go with this. If you have dark circles, there's an orange primer that goes with this. It's not a ton of color, but it helps that color correct underneath, and it works very well with this. And they have that very great setting translucent powder that's super fine, and it doesn't have any flashback. Like this is the gold. And I just haven't tried some other higher end, so I'll be curious. Maybe that's what I will get during the VIB sale if I decide to shop it this year, because that's the kind of stuff that I buy. That's my own suggestion. I'm not gonna go into telling you what you should buy. You know what you want. From Sephora, I always tell people, get foundation, get fragrance, get skincare. Those are the things that cost the most. Those are the things that are least likely to go on sale, that it will be the best time to get it. But that is why I like this one. It is not hydrating, but it is also not mattifying. It's like just right. Goldilocks will put pick this one. And I know people with oily skin are afraid of this one. They always go to the matte velvet, which also does make my list. I love that coverage as well, but sometimes I want the mattes don't necessarily look like skin. And this is medium coverage. You can build it up to full. That is what it's made for. It's very adaptable. This has makeup artists in mind. The other one that I would also suggest, which is a relatively new foundation, is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Foundation. And I wear 70 WR. And this is how it looks. And it comes with a pump. You can, this is also gross. Okay. You can never discount that thing's coming with a pump, because I actually have a few that don't come with the pump, like the Nars Sheer Glow does not come with a pump. You would have to purchase a pump too, and the same thing with the Estee Lauder. They don't come with a pump, but you can purchase them, whatever. Yeah, this is supposedly, allegedly matte. It is not. It is skin-like formula, and it is supposed to be weightless. It's light, gives you great cut. It's light to the touch on skin, gives you great coverage, and it lasts up to 24 hours. It is bomb, and I like it way. I'm gonna take this off. I like it way more than I thought I would. And it is just, it feels great. They have a ton of colors. They break them up under undertones. So like the WR, because there's a 70 WY. The WR is for warm red. So I have a reddish undertone. Even though I can wear the one with the yellow undertone too, this is just a little better for me. I love it. I love putting people in it. It is a little tricky. You have to play with it because it has all those other undertones. So I do like it, but when you get your correct match, this is bomb. Okay, so those are the skin-like finishes that I like. And now for the ones that I also, which I wear the most, because again, I have oily combination skin, it is the oily category. Even though that, like that FitMe matte Poreless would go into this, actually both of those kind of would. Okay, but okay. Anywho, okay, the first one, which you see I just have a spittle of, and this is not my favorite matte foundation, but I love it, and I love what it did. One, for the culture. Two, for the range that it has. A lot of people get in this. You can find a lot of people's color. You do have to play with it, and that is the Fenty Beauty, what is this? A matte pro filter Longwear foundation, and I wear 400. And the thing about this one is that, one, there is a learning curve with this. People were like, it's oxidizing. It's not oxidizing. It is like paint. You put it on, and you know how when you paint, how many times will I say paint? When you're painting a wall, it is a different color when it's wet versus when it dries. Like when you take it out of the can, regardless of what you pick, when you go take the sample of like, this is what its true color is gonna be. It dries down to its true color. It's not oxidizing, not because it's exposed to oxygen, but it's because it dries down. So it's like paint, and like paint, it goes on and stays on all day. This, people, I know when it first came out, people that had dry skin were kind of PO, but it was just like, yeah, this is a matte foundation. And then some of y'all want matte foundations, but you gotta think about your skin. You gotta prep your skin. And that's what any foundation, you can make anything work for you. You just have to play with it. You have to prep your skin. Skin prep is very important when it comes to foundation, even if you don't have on that much. So even if you're not gonna do a primer, you at least need a good lotion. I don't know, I haven't tried that powdering of the face too much, but I'll still wear primers because I have them, so I'm going to use them up. I'm not doing a bunch of layers because it's just like, isn't the primer, I do my skincare, my basic steps with your, your wash, your toning, your moisturizing, your eye cream, your serums, all that is not exactly in the order. I can insert the real order or whatever. But with that, even you doing all of that, basically when you're good and hydrated, you can skip primer and just set your face if you're oily in the areas that you are oily, but you have a barrier too because you already have moisturize on there. And the same thing with primer. Primer is another barrier that'll help your makeup glide on. You don't need to do both of those, in my opinion. I know some people have always said it. I know, like, it's my Ray. I know Jackie Aina has done this before it became big on TikTok. that you know, you set your basically your either your moisturizer or your primer and go on about your day. You don't have to do it, so it's not like a new thing, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm kind of rambling on that. But with this one, and Fenty did come out with a bunch of not a bunch, it's 3 primers. You got the original soft matte, which is more like a skin light finish. It doesn't really mattify, but it gives you like the idea behind this one is that it looks like your skin, but better. And some people really want it matte, like and it's matte, but it's not matte. The way like my next one I'm gonna talk about is matte. So there's a true matte primer, and there's a hydrating primer, which all of those can be put on with both of the foundations that she has. But yeah, just because of my skin type, this is the one I prefer. I think you get the most wear out of this, but in my opinion, with hydrating foundations versus mattifying ones generally are more long wear. It's just like a paint dried down, and then it's basically you battling with your oil and how much your sebum is eventually going to break through. It just is what it is. All right, moving on. My favorite mattifying foundation is, and this is, all of my foundations are gross and I really could have cleaned them first, I'm sorry. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This pump is from MAC. This is before they were selling that pump on Amazon that basically matches this bottle. So it just has a screw top, but I like a pump. The pump is giving me exactly what I need. So yeah, that's just gross. But that's how it looks. This is the OG. There are other double wears too. This is basically 24-hour. You really got to clean your face good. And I wear sandalwood in this color. This is one of the OGs. Glass bottle. That is why I have the rubber bands wrapped around it, because when you are traveling, which you know, ain't nobody traveling right now. But even if you're good and clumsy, like I can sort of be, I am my dropper of things, that you need to have just some kind of barrier. So that is what I like about the old school bottle, but not even too much old school, because that Fenty is glass too. But the hydrating one is not glass, which you'll see that in the picture. So I wrap them in rubber bands. I usually have more than this, but this is just at home. So this is full coverage. This is long wearing. It takes a lot to get it out. But with full coverage, you need, and when she is matte. So she is matte for real. I would not put this on anybody that has dry skin. Point blank period. At least not this original version. There is another one that is, they have a hydrated one. I don't know how well that stays on, because again, in my opinion, hydrating foundations, again, don't stay on as long as mattifying ones. It just is what it is, because it's like lotion. Lotion soaks in, lotion, you can rub it off on stuff. It's like that. So, in my opinion, well, not really an opinion, that's fact. But with this one, this is the OG full coverage, full, like it says, it's full mattifying foundation, the GOAT. If nothing else work for me, at the end of the day, I will always come back to this. I love it. I don't know what got me into double wear. And I like it, even though with full coverage foundations, I have very few. I have none that are full coverage. That besides this one, with full coverage, you do have to add dimension back to your face, which is not that big of a deal for those of us who, you know, like a good beat, like we got today. I don't have that on today, but I still add dimension to my face with bronzers or contour sticks and blush and all that kind of stuff. But with full coverage, you must add dimension back to your face, or you're going to look like you have a mask on. That's just point blank and the period. I know some people, especially I have clients that will come to me who don't want to do that much with their face, but I will also want full coverage. I will steer you to medium coverage to light coverage every time. And I actually think a lot of people have decent skin. And even if you have any kind of scarring or acne, which you don't put stuff on top. Sometimes when you put full coverage stuff on there, it just makes everything stand out more, so it doesn't really help what you got going on, if that makes sense. Okay, and the last one that I don't actually have a bottle of is from Makeup Forever. I'll insert a picture of it too. It is the Matte Velvet. Matte Velvet comes in a squeeze bottle. Matte Velvet feels light. Matte Velvet has great coverage. Matte Velvet keeps you matte. I could not ask for more in a mattifying foundation. I just didn't need to buy any other foundation. Like you can see the ones that I have, I'm actively trying to go through stuff. And another one that I don't have that I actually really like, I had to read from my notes, I completely forgot about it, and it is the Nars All Day Luminous. That is also full coverage. And when they say all, and the name is deceiving. It says All Day Luminous, but it's a matte foundation. It is full coverage, but again, it has that nice quality matte. It's like, it's matte, but it looks like your skin. It really is a satin finish. It's not necessarily the most mattifying. It doesn't dry you up, but it also gives you like a glow. I wear Macau, and that one I can also wear Trinidad, so it's a couple I can go between, but that's like most shades because I kind of fall in the middle of the deep dark shades. I love it. It goes on like a dream. You can put it on with a sponge or a brush. I'm a brush girl, like I said. I love it. I love the way it looks on people. It gives you a full coverage, but it's a natural coverage as well. So I love that one. That may be the one thing that I buy. I don't need anything else. And honorable mention, Born This Way from Too Faced. I actually like the it's concealer, but it's the multi sculpting ones. Big old doe foot. I use this as foundation because they basically have all the same colors. And this one, since it is the concealer, it's a thicker consistency than the foundation. The foundation looks great too. The foundation is light. The foundation is a medium to full coverage. You build it up to full, but it gives you great coverage without you looking masky. It looks very nice. That's the only thing. With all foundations, you need to just make sure that one, you are applying it and applying it well, prepping your skin well, and also make sure you got the right color. That's it. And it's one of the easiest things to put on, and it's the first great step for your makeup. If you don't feel like doing a bunch of eye looks, you don't feel like always contouring, you don't feel like doing your eyebrows, you don't feel like doing, you know, all these things that are a little more difficult, but what will set it apart and make you look very good and make things gel and make your whole look gel is the application and matching. You need to definitely make sure you get the right color of your foundation. And don't forget to take it down into your neck a little bit. You don't need to add more to the neck, but you just need to take it down into the neck to give you that seamless blend. And go over, and my tip is also to go over your makeup with a damp sponge. I like to apply with a brush and then go over it with a damp sponge to help that final blend so you don't have any lines or streaks or anything like that. All right, so, and I also gave out some shout outs to some powder foundations for people that don't necessarily love liquid. I love liquid because liquid looks like your skin, and I don't think it doesn't take a lot for it to really look very good. Powder, I'll always go with the MAC Studio Fix, which I have. So I ended up having it in my kit. That was maybe my first foundation like ever, like when I was in high school. The first real makeup was I wear and it's NC50. You know they put everybody that's, you know, all of us. You know, they put us all in like NC50, NC45, and W45. It's all the same kind of color. So I like that one. It is not, you're not gonna get full coverage with a powder, but as far as a powder foundation, that's great. Also, the Born This Way from Too Faced, which is in the same colors as these and the foundation. That powder is great. They just, I know since we have been on, you know, lockdown, Ulta had it, and Sephora had it in their 21 Days of Beauty. It was on sale. Too Faced has been having sales since all of this time because you ain't got nothing to do but shop. But yeah, if you are not easy with a liquid foundation, that's worth looking at. So I hope this has been informative. Hopefully I'm not rambling too much. I'm trying to get all of this out. I swear I'm trying to make shorter videos, but this is in depth, trying to explain these different things and why you should look at certain foundations, because I think that they will be worth your time. Everything, just because it comes out, is not necessarily worth your time. There are other things I could suggest that I'm only suggesting them because I have basically told about the stuff that I like on me and how I like to use them on other people. I have yeah, because like we can even go into it. I've used Huda, I've used Kat Von D, or excuse me, KVD Beauty. I've used both of those, and both of those are full coverage. I've used those on people, but they are just not my favorites. So, or not my favorites on me, not my favorites to use on other people. But there are so many foundations because everyone's skin is different. Everyone's look is different. Everyone's going for a different effect. We're not the same people. We're not a monolith. So that is something to keep in mind. All right. This is not too rambly, and you had to do what works for you. That's what I'm saying at the end of the day. All right. Hopefully this is not too rambly. Hopefully this has been informative. Tell me what you guys like. What is your favorite foundation? What have you done a full beat since you have been under that beverage? Since we've been under that beverage? In the words of Tony Baker, what have you been doing to occupy yourself? Have you tried any of these foundations that I mentioned? What is your favorite? What do you like to do? How do you like to put it on? Let's get a conversation going. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all stay healthy. Y'all stay happy. Y'all stay healthy. Y'all stay blessed. Thanks for tuning in. And remember that Nancy loves you. Bye. Y'all like my beat today? Ew.